كانت طلعت الرشيدة دیگه جونم به لب رسیده.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، وأفضل الصلاة وأزكى السلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد، اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المباركين، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I begin my words and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless and grant us with beneficial knowledge that will benefit us in this life and in the hereafter, inshallah. World politics affects each and every human being living on this earth. Whether we be Muslim, Christian, Buddha, or even atheist. As long as we are citizens of a specific country, we are affected by the politics of that country and the laws and the bills that are implemented on a day-to-day basis. What goes on in every parliament has an effect on us. It could be a positive effect and it could be a negative effect. And this is taking a look at all countries together. There is not one country that falls in any sort of exception from this matter. Once we become citizens of a country, we are affected by the laws and the governing system of that country. And therefore they concern us. This is why we have things such as politics and why we have voting in politics. The main reason why we go and vote, because it concerns us what will happen in the parliament in the future. And then we have the number of campaigns that occur every now and then, each one of them promising to provide something better than the other party in order to win more votes. The believers that have subscribed to a faith, whether it be Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, always feel that they are living their lives governed by two systems. The first system is the governance of the country, and then the religion and their duties and responsibilities towards their faith. Therefore, in history, we have witnessed multiple governments that try to mix between the two. So you'll find the politics that is run through parliament and the governance of the Islamic jurisdiction and marja'iyah in Islam. Sometimes when Islam is the governing system, that very politics is given an Islamic coating. And in most cases, the laws of the country are deducted from Islamic teachings and taken from Islamic teachings. In this regard, I would like to quote a couple of statements by the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi, for no specific reason, just because I was reading this book today before this lecture. I found two things to be very interesting. He says in his book, Politics, the Very Heart of Islam, and this is page 1. The first page within the author's introduction, he says, and the authority of the government, it is the way to manage people's affairs in times of war and peace, dealing and trading, hard times and prosperity, unity and discord, and so on. Therefore, the laws of a government are placed in order to manage people's affairs in times of war and in peace, dealing and trading, which means the first matter is the matter of security. Politics manages security in war and in peace. Dealing and trading, which is the economical side of it. Hard times and prosperity, which is the social side of it. Unity and discord, which is the civil side of it, and so on. Therefore, politics plays a big role in the life of the human being that lives in any country, because it should have a role in the life of every human being. In chapter 1, page 5 of the very book, which is named Islam and Politics, he says politics is defined as organizing people's life affairs in the best and most comfortable fashion. We're talking in dreamland right now. We're dreaming. This is what it's supposed to be. Politics is defined as organizing people's life affairs in the best and most comfortable fashion, which in turn is what the Almighty means in the Holy Quran, and He brings many verses that stress on justice and making sure that nobody is oppressed and so on. Point is, organizing people's life affairs in the best and most comfortable fashion is the right definition of politics, whereby this definition has been ignored. And the definition of politics today, which we see from the majority of the countries, is basically benefiting yourself, benefiting your party, benefiting your nation, benefiting the people that support you, benefiting those you have hope in, on any expense and at all costs. And this cost and expense could be the life and blood of other nations. Point is that you maintain and preserve your governments. This is the politics we see today. And because of that, we have two questions that need answering. The first question stems from an opinion. They say, shouldn't religion not interfere in everything? And it must not be limited to a mosque. And by the mosque here, we don't mean by one specific mosque. We mean the religion, just like how when we say the church, we don't mean one specific church. We mean the Christian system of governance, the religious system. When we say mosque, we mean the governance of the Muslim Ummah. The religion, first of all, mustn't interfere in anything. And it shouldn't be limited to a mosque. And politics must be separated from religion in order that religion is preserved. We need to make sure that religion is preserved. The second matter is that religion must interfere in everything, and it shouldn't be limited to anything. Religion could interfere in anything, not limited to anything. The first opinion is that religion shouldn't interfere in anything and shouldn't be limited to a mosque. Two different aspects. When you say why, they say because in order that religion is preserved. We say, what's wrong with the religion? They'll tell you, first of all, how many Christians left Christianity after the world wars that took place in the name of religion? How many people lost faith in God after witnessing what happened in wars and battles? How many Muslims left Islam after the recent revolution in Iran? These are facts nobody can deny. How many Shia left Shi'ism because of the Iranian revolution? They're not one or two. Their books are all over the place. Their stories are everywhere. Sometimes we find them in our societies here today. When you take a look at the Iranian communities, with all due respect to the Iranian communities, but when you take a look at the Iranian communities, you'll find the Shia, Ithna Ashari, whose parents and grandparents were Husseini, Karbala'i, Hayati. You find them turning into Roshan Fikr, people who head towards the open-mindedness and the modernization of Islam. We're not saying Islam isn't modern. In fact, prophets were the most modern people. They came with matters that enhanced the human race. Prophets were modern people. The Quran came down on a bunch of ignorant people and guided them. This is the best form of modernization. In fact, there's nothing more modern than the Jannah, nothing more modern than paradise. And the only way to that is through the Quran and through the religion. Religion isn't against modernization, but the term modernization today is being placed onto the term extra freedom, where when someone isn't content and satisfied with the freedom they have, they want more freedom. And then because they have some sort of ideology they wish to quote that freedom with and cover that freedom with, they call it the Roshan Fiqh, the open-mindedness. And they're still religious people and they believe in the Quran. If you were to take a look at the majority of them, not all of them, the majority of them, most of them will tell you, we have bad experience back home. We have an issue with the government of Iran. And this is very normal. You'll find this in every other government. Even in Iraq, you'll find people, they lose their religion because of some religious authorities. You'll find that whenever religion is involved in politics, and it's politicized, you'll find that the religion of people becomes in danger. We need to make sure that the people, first of all, understand the revolution of Iran properly. When they understand it, they will no longer leave the religion. If you understand the aims of it, you'll no longer leave the religion. And the matters that are there that should be understood is, number one, this isn't the government of Rasulullah. If someone oppresses you in Iraq and has a turban, in Iran has a turban, and then you then think this is what the Prophet was like, and they're following the Prophet because they're claiming to be religious, and they're doing this in the name of religion, obviously you're going to leave religion, you're going to lose hope in religion. But if you understand this isn't the Prophet, and the Prophet was something else, if one understands this, this opens the way to many things, starting from hope in the Mahdi. When someone sees that there is corruption in the name of religion, they yearn for the Mahdi. And they pray that the Mahdi arrives today before tomorrow. I'm not speaking about one specific ruler, I'm speaking about the system. Any government today can go, another government will come in the future. We can take a look at ISIS as a good example as well. Not necessarily Shia governments. The main point is politics in government. Can religion mix with politics or no? This is our main question. There is a matter that needs to be clarified. They say religion is from God. Religion is from God. Politics and the corruption of politics is from the human being. Therefore, they shouldn't be mixed. And this is a wrong claim. This is a wrong claim to a certain extent. Why? Because religion came to fix the problems of the human being. Religion came to tell the businessman that riba and interest and ripping people off is haram. Religion came to tell the politician lying to people, misusing the nation's wealth is haram. Religion came to the scholar to tell the scholar and the learned person and philosopher that showing off and seeking authority more than what you deserve isn't right. Religion came to perfect the human being in all aspects of life. And once the human being realizes that if he is a farmer, or an actor, or a writer, or a doctor, or a painter, or a carpenter, whatever field of life, walk of life they come from, if they realize that religion is there to perfect the human being, they will find a link to religion no matter what experience they've had in life and what background they come from. This is the beauty of religion. A prophet can relate to it, a sheikh can relate to it, an actor can relate to it, a businessman can relate to it, a politician can relate to it. Why? Because religion came to perfect humanity. And when you take a look at many matters that serve humanity, you'll find that politics is the best way to serve humanity. How? Well, you might have a businessman that will come and fund a religious event. You might have a writer that will teach people and spread books and publications. But the businessman will only serve in his field of donations, and the writer will only serve in the field of education. But if a politician becomes successful and fears God, he will be able to serve the entire nation, all walks of life, all aspects, the diverse communities, education, defense, justice, children's rights, parents' rights, caring for the people, defending the country, spreading the truth, allowing people to graduate from prisons rather than coming out of prisons as criminals that want to blow themselves up because they have lost hope in life, and radicals. This here depends on the politician. If he becomes a successful person and fears God, then there is no problem in having politics and religion combined in one system run by a man that fears God. When someone takes a look at politics, what do they require from it? Their requirement is their very expectation from it. When someone says, this person is a politician, what do you want from your politician when you're voting for them? What is it that you want from them? You want them to be just. You want them to be fair. The same with religion. The same with religion. Why do we always refer back to the religion? Because religion is the formula of justice that we live by. Therefore, our vision towards politics and religion is the same vision. That as a human being, I expect justice from both of them. And when you take a look at today's politics, you will find that no government that is run upon any religion can give you justice. In fact, they give you injustice. What's the problem here? This is a fact. Yes, I might like this specific government, but at the same time, it's not the government of the Prophet, which means somewhere in that government, there are families that are hungry, sleeping at night with no dinner. Who's in charge? If we're calling it government alone, then I have no say in it. But if it's called Islamic, in the name of God, in the name of Jesus, then every human being that follows Jesus and follows God can give an opinion regarding that matter, because this oppression and this hunger and poverty is occurring in the name of Jesus and in the name of God and in the name of the Prophet. This is why you find many of our ulama do not support any form of government. It's very important that we understand that a government is there to serve. And this ideology stems from the understanding that God sent His religion down to serve human beings. And we have honored the children of Adam. Karramna bani Adam. The Quran says we have honored them. The religion came to serve human beings. And we serve the religion because we see how much it serves human beings. The first level is that the humanity is served. And because we seek justice, it's always worth taking a look at where we were in the beginning of Islam and where we are now. Quraysh came to the Prophet to speak to him. The kings of Quraysh, the sheikhs of Quraysh, of Mecca, idol worshippers, powerful figures, nobody can deny them and deny their strength at that time. never lost a battle between the Arabs. They came to the Prophet and they didn't find him because he refused to speak to them. So they spoke to his grandfather and they said, "What does Muhammad want? What does he want? Brainwashing our youth, turning our women against us." When the Prophet came, he never allowed one woman to be buried alive. He never allowed a slave to be mistreated. And he gave honor to the youth to the point that they saw that their presence among society is very important and their role in this community is something other than being slaves and workers. There's more to life than being an idol worshipper and a slave. Therefore, when they saw that this is happening, women are turning against their husbands, "Do not bury my daughter alive." The slaves are turning against their masters, saying, "We don't work for you, we work with you." And when youth are refusing to become oppressors and support the oppressing government, the kings felt They felt threatened. So they came and they said, "What does Muhammad want? Why is he doing this? Does he want women? We'll give him women. We'll marry him off to the most beautiful woman of Arabia. Does he want money? Let him point at any king on the face of the earth and we'll make him richer than that king. Does he want power? We'll give him power. Does he want the keys to the Kaaba? We'll give him the keys to the Kaaba." So he came to the Prophet and he said to him, "Ya Rasulullah, Quraysh is offering you this." The Prophet said, "Wallah, if they placed the moon and sun in my hands, I will never leave this matter, which is the matter of guiding people, unless I die or I am killed." If I die naturally from sickness, which they killed him later on. The Prophet was killed. Therefore, you see that the Prophet wasn't concerned about money, wasn't concerned about wealth. And this matter is from the beginning of Islam, from the emergence of Islam. This matter that we're speaking about, this historical occurrence, this offer was made to the Prophet before everything, before all of the battles, before the poverty, before the tragedies, before everything, before him coming to Mecca and conquering it and establishing government, before everything. If the Prophet's main mission was to make money and go after women and do this and do that, and if his main desires from this message were materialistic desires, worldly desires, he could have accepted all of this and he would have still lived an honorable rich king, and there would be no need for him to clash with the Romans and clash with the tribes and defend himself and lose his people. There would be no need. He lost people like Hamza for this religion. The main reason is justice. The Prophet wanted justice. His mission outweighed all of this. And the justice that the Prophet reflected, peace be upon him and his family, that he reflected during his lifetime, is justice that will never be seen on the face of the earth by anyone. And it was only seen by Ali ibn Abi Talib. And when I say by Ali ibn Abi Talib, it's the same justice of Rasulullah. And it will only be seen by the Mahdi, by no one else. The Prophet one day was fixing the line for Salatul Jama'ah, congregational prayers of the Muslimin. And the Prophet would use his miswak before the salah. It's mustahab that one cleans his mouth with the miswak before praying. The Prophet came to the Muslimin and he would draw a line on their bodies very gently to make sure they're all standing in one straight line. There's not one that's standing a step forward and one standing a step back. They're all in one straight line. So the Prophet would just brush his miswak gently on all of them as he walks. The mukhalifeen say the Prophet used to brush his sword on the floor, and if there's any toes sticking out, the toes will be cut. This is a lie against the Prophet. How can someone bleed? If the Prophet makes someone bleed, their wudu would be batil. And what kind of the Prophet of mercy is this? Before every salah 5 times a day, he's chopping toes. The Prophet used to do it with a miswak. And there was one man whose belly was a bit fat and it was sticking out of the line. So the Prophet, as he brushed the miswak on the people, he pushed him back a little bit. Pushed him back, he poked him. Then the man said, Ya Rasulullah, you hurt my stomach. The Prophet said, take the miswak. This is number 1, the Prophet of God. 2, the leader of the country. You know what a leader of a country is? Look at the leaders today. Not a minister, the main figure there to ever exist, and they believe in him as a leader and a prophet. He says to this man, take the miswak and poke me. This is your right. This is the level of justice that we're talking about. That if I harm you a little bit, and I am the Prophet of God, you still have a right over me to take your right from me. He said, here's the miswak, do the same to me. And when this man saw the humbleness of Rasulullah, he fell on the Prophet's feet, kissing them, and he said, no, Ya Rasulullah, I didn't mean it like that. We're speaking about people who believed in this Prophet as a leader and a prophet because of what they saw from him. And the Prophet mixed, he had a government, so he obviously mixed between politics and religion. And whoever comes and says, yes, the Prophet ruled over Muslims, no, abadan. Christianity came before Islam. The Prophet's government had churches in it, had synagogues for the Jews, these religions that were there before Islam. When the Prophet came and he conquered Mecca, he took over Mecca, he established a government in the first day. One of the companions pulled out a sword and went on his horse, spinning the sword like this, yelling, Al-yawmu yawmul malhamah. Today is the day of butchery, ya mushrikeen. Today is the day of butchery. We're going to butcher all of you. The Prophet said, Ya Ali, get on your horse and respond to this man who's brought me shame. So the Prophet ordered Imam Ali. Imam Ali got on his horse and he went on the same path as that man, and he said, Al-yawmu yawmul marhama. Today is the day of mercy, not butchery. This is the government we want. The government of mercy, the government of love. And the majority of you have heard the story where Shimr, the killer of Imam Hussein, was caught hostage in one of the battles that Imam Ali was victorious in. And Shimr requested from Imam Hussein that his ropes are let loose a little bit because they're hurting his hand. And Imam Ali opened the ropes of Shimr ibn al-Jawshan, who would later on be the killer of his son Imam Hussein. We're talking about this type of justice. In Imam Ali's government, there were prisoners who murdered people, who raped women, who stole, and they weren't needy. On this condition, because there was no poor in the government of Imam Ali. The only government, Imam Ali's government and Rasulullah's government, where there was no poor people in it. Imam Ali himself would make sure that there would not be one poor person in that government. He had his messengers and team in every city, making sure that no village has a person who sleeps hungry in it. Imam Ali's prisons had real criminals, and the prisons were forms of schools where they came out as believers who just want to go to Hajj. Prisons like that, an actual school that nurtures and fixes the human being. You know how many people wanted to kill Imam Ali? Imam Ali's government is probably the only government that had oppositions that wanted to kill Imam Ali and said it to him to his face and plotted to and planned to kill him. And they said, we want to kill you and sit in your chair. What did Imam Ali do to them? Nothing. Freedom of speech. The government of Imam Ali never had one political prisoner at all. Because if you're truthful, then you don't fear any media. If you're truthful, you don't fear any propaganda. Because you're the truth. Aliyum ma'al haqq wal haqq ma'al. Who are you afraid of? Let them talk. Freedom of speech. When we're taking a look at Imam Ali, the only political prisoner in the government of Imam Ali was one man, and he was the man that killed him, Ibn Muljim. And even after that, he said to his son, after he was struck, he said to his son, don't kill him. Did you give him food today? Did you feed him? Don't touch him. Nobody hit him. Nobody insult him. I don't want him to hear anything that will harm him. Is his prison comfortable? Let him be. Nobody go near him. Nobody frown at him. When the doctor said it's healthy for Imam Ali to drink milk, the orphans lined up bringing milk for Imam Ali alayhi salam in pots. Imam Ali said, take this milk to Ibn Muljim. This is Ibn Muljim, who Imam Ali used to feed before he killed him. Imam Ali used to go buy bread for himself, for Fatima al-Zahra, for Al-Hasan and Al-Husayn and Zainab. He would give Ibn Muljim from that bread on the way back, and he would take care of him. And he betrayed him. And Imam Ali never said, this man betrayed me, I will never forgive him. He said, no. Even if I die, he hit me one hit. Strike him with one strike. No more. Don't even kick him. Don't spit at him. Don't do anything. This is the killer of Ali. That's the closest thing you can get to God. You got the Prophet and Imam Ali. One level below God. When you kill them, what's left? What more of a crime could be greater than this? You're literally killing the Quran. You're killing the religion. He says, don't worry. Why? Because he's confident. For him, justice needs to be established. He hit me once, hit him once. He's hungry, give him food. I'm still the ruler. I'm still the government. No man will sleep hungry in my government. I don't care, even if he's my killer. I am Ali. I am the symbol of God's divine justice. Even Ibn Muljim will not sleep hungry in the government of Imam Ali. we're speaking about this type of justice. Where will we find this? Nowhere except for the government of Imam Mahdi salamullahi alayhi. And then you have the many other matters that are also very important. The appearance of this ruler. The Prophet used to walk around in the markets to the point Quraysh said, what kind of a prophet is this? He goes shopping and he walks in the markets. What kind of a prophet is this? Imam Ali rides a donkey out of humbleness. He could ride a stallion, but he rides a donkey out of humbleness. And when the Prophet and Imam Ali would go out to far places, there was no caravans that walked before them, blocking the roads, move aside. The Prophet is coming. None of that. And when they rode together, they used one horse. To the point sometimes 3 men rode one horse. The Prophet, Imam Ali, and one of his companions. And they would say, Ya Rasulullah, we'll walk, you ride the horse. It looks better that way. The appearance would be better that way. He says, no. I am also in need of rewards. And you're not stronger than me. So I can't walk all the way. I can walk all the way. You're not stronger than me. I'm not that weak that I need to take a ride. You're not stronger than me. We're equal. And at the same time, I also need the rewards. Rasulullah, that's why 3 of us will ride the horse. Or 3 of us will walk. And Rasulullah never allowed anyone to turn him into an idol, because the mentality of back then was all idols. You make an idol and you bow down to it. Today we have idols, they're moving idols. Today we have moving idols. Some scholars, you have to pull their hand to be able to kiss it. And some scholars today, as soon as you shake their hand, he pushes the hand out for you. Yalla. What's happening? What's going on? And then you have, and it's not their fault, it's the fault of the others. It's the fault of some people who worship them. I'm not saying they have the scholar and they say Allahu Akbar, or the scholar is the greatest. No, they're not literally worshipping, but they're acting as though this man is worthy of worship. He has some sort of loyalty over them. When they kiss his hand, they make a squeak. What's going on? Tabarruk, kiss the hand and that's it. We need to know what the Prophet used to teach and preach. Never allowed anyone to create some sort of a throne for him that he sat on. To the point when people used to come from far places, they would hear that the Prophet is in this room, but they wouldn't know who's the Prophet. So they would say, Assalamu alayka ya Muhammad ibn Abdullah. And he would say, Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmah. Oh, that's the Prophet. There was no white piece of cloth on where he would sit, so people can tell the difference from other seats. There was no bodyguards waiting for him to arrive. There was none of that. That's why Muhammad shook the minds and hearts of philosophers, Muslims and non-Muslims, as to how can a man like this be so great. Take a look at the books of Michael Hart. First man in his book, Muhammad. Why? Because the Prophet earned it. How? With his ethics. If you want to bring politics in religion, religion and politics, let your foundation be ethics, proper ethics. And wallah, the religious and non-religious will fall by your feet because of the justice that you are reflecting and projecting for them. A question is worth discussing. Can one practice politics and be a religious person at the same time? The question is of course, because in reality, politics should be the art of serving people. And serving people is the main foundation for religion. How many hadith do we have? Serve the people. Love for your brother what you love for yourself. The neighbor before your home. Serve others. People's needs from you are a blessing from Allah upon you. Help the people. How many teachings do we have? Therefore, politics should be the art of serving people. And we should be competing in perfecting this art. However, today's politics is the art of deceiving people. Does politics that is mixed with religion require some sort of reformation? Indeed. It requires a lot of reformation. Because nothing has ruined this ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa other than politics. Take a look at Saudi Arabia. We are the government of Islam. Flag, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Yeah. Khadimul Haramain. Everything religion, Saudi Arabia. Quran, Saudi Arabia. Hajj, Saudi Arabia. Okay, what are they doing? Hand in hand with every enemy of God. Hand in hand with every terrorist. Hand in hand with every mission to ruin humanity. There, what are they doing to Yemen? And when the UN wants to speak, we'll cut the funding. In the name of who? In the name of who? In the name of religion. The flag says it. They say it. They claim it. Their titles claim it. Everything has a religious coating. And the main reason why we shouldn't have Islamic governments is because one of the main matters that a government requires is to spy. And spying in Islam is haram. وَلَا تَجَسَّسُوا. I'm speaking about Muslims. You have a Shia government spying on Shia. Tell you for the safety. Ajib, Imam Ali is less important than you. Why didn't he have spies? Why did the Prophet have spies? We need to spy. Yes, having eyes on the borders of your government, making sure you're protecting it is one thing. Amma spying for no reason on the nation and on the people. And the inbox is what you want, full control of everything. There's one form of spying where it's an intelligence service. You're making sure there's no aeroplanes coming into your skies, there's no terrorist plots being undertaken. That's okay, that is needed. But there's another form of spying where you spy on the nation's Facebook, you spy on the nation's YouTube, you spy on the nation's Instagram, you spy on the nation's Twitter. You want to know what's going on. Why? Because you're alert. Because you know that the people will rise against corruption. Because if the matter was everlasting, if governments were everlasting, if kingdoms were everlasting, it wouldn't have reached you. You wouldn't have been a leader by now. It would have been everlasting for the Prophet and for Amir al-Mu'mineen, but it's not everlasting. And the main reason why governments collapse is because the people rise against it. Or when another government wants to take over, the people don't defend the government. The government's always alert. Why? Because they know they're doing something wrong. The art of deceiving people. We need governments that master the art of perfecting people. So we have many issues. Saudi Arabia spying on Iran. What do you want from Iran? مشعلة الصفحة. What do you want from Iran? Spying 24/7 on every Iranian, and has made the entire Arabian Gulf spy on Iranians. What do you want from them? Leave them alone. Or you find them spying on the Shia within Saudi Arabia. A government that seeks haram means and haram methods to strengthen itself will not last. Because God has given you this Quran to govern injustice. And He says whoever doesn't judge by what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has judged, they are the oppressors, they are the disbelievers, they are the corrupt ones. The Quran and the laws of God do not allow anyone to run a government using them and oppressing people, the Quran will turn against you one day and your government will collapse. The Quran will do it, not me. And then we have the matter of tyrants in the name of religion. There's another reason why we shouldn't have governments in the name of religion. Any religion. Because then they become tyrants in the name of religion. They're not infallible. They'll have to commit sin. The people will think that is the religion. And that's wrong. This is why we are in peace. When our Australian government has nothing to do with religion. Chilled. You want to be Christian? Be Christian. You want to be Muslim? Be Muslim. You want to be Jew? Be Jew. Freedom. One of our scholars, very well known, he says, I went to the West, I saw Islam, didn't see the Muslims. I came to the Middle East, I saw Muslims, didn't find Islam. When you have a government that's far away from religion, people will become more religious here than in the Middle East. And wallahi, this is a fact. Nobody can deny. Go to Karbala. If you know Arabic, wait for a fight to break out and see the insults that occur. Insults him, his God, his Imam, insults Imam Hussein, insults Al-Abbas. In front of Imam Hussein, they will insult Imam Hussein. In front of Al-Abbas, kufr. And then you find someone that comes from London or from Africa. As soon as he sees the dome, he falls face first onto the earth, onto the ground. Heart filled with love and loyalty for Ahlul Bayt. Why? Because they're living in atmospheres that allows them to be free thinkers, free human beings. Nobody's dictating you what you should think, what you should say, what you should read, what you should teach. It's a free world. And this is why we have universities. When you go to a university, what do they tell you? This is a subject, this is for, and this is against. No one's gonna give you any biased opinion. You take what you want to take. It's very important that we understand why these governments became successful after hundreds of years of wars and battles. Because they followed the methodology that says, government aside, religion aside. We'll have the Pope there and his representatives. We'll have the Muslims there and their councils. The government is one thing. But when you have a Christian government, the Muslims will be oppressed and the Jews will be oppressed. When you have a Jewish government, the Christians will be oppressed and the Muslims will be oppressed. If you have a Muslim government, everyone will be oppressed. If you have a Muslim government, everyone will be oppressed, even the Muslims. Take a look at our people. Wallah, take a look at our people. The Lebanese don't like the Syrians. The Syrians don't like the Lebanese. The Afghani doesn't like the Irani. The Irani hates the Afghani. The Iraqi doesn't like the Urduni. Iraqi doesn't like anyone, I forgot. The Iraqi, Aslan, they don't like anyone. This is the problem. Where does it come from? As soon as they get into a conversation, why don't you like him? Wallah, his government is like this. Wallah, this man, his country is like that. His country attacked my country. And they're Shia from one Husayniyah. But because politics found its way in their history and in their tradition and in their culture and in their line of thinking, you find they're easy to react in defending their government. The man hasn't done anything in front of you. It's the government back home, which he has a problem with as well. And he agrees with you. But because of the way our world has formed, and we are part of that system and it's affecting us and our families back home, you find that whatever goes on has an impact on us. And it's very important that we keep this in mind. And then we have matters of rights. If you have an Islamic government, right? Islamic government needs a mufti. A mufti is an employee for the government, which is rubbish. Here in Australia, the mufti isn't appointed by the government, which is a good thing. In other countries, the mufti is appointed by the government. if he dares to side with the nation one day, resignation, Ammi, get out of here. He needs to do what the government sees fit. They call him, Haji, give us fatwa for jihad al-nikah. Done. Khalas, Khatm al-Sharif, he will stamp on it. Jihad al-nikah, done. If they say do something and he refuses, sides with the nation, they'll go against him. He'll lose the 25 grand per month, the 30 grand per month. He'll lose it, the Hajji. And he'll be arrested and exiled and a traitor, or smack him around, and he'll be a betrayer or pacifist or mal'oon, or they'll bring another mufti to give a fatwa against him. When you have one country with diverse communities, and then you want to have one governing religion, Islam, the Christians are going to say, we don't agree with this. The Jews are going to say, we don't agree with this. Khalas, what do you want? We want to split in half? Taqseem? We want to be a country independent on our own. We don't want to be part of that. And this is where division comes. This is how countries are ruined. But if you have one country, relaxed, like Julia Gillard. No God, nothing. Relaxed. Do what you want to do. Believe in what you want to believe. You'll find the people are relaxed. In fact, this form of a government, like the Australian government, will support any project that enhances religion, that enhances peace, which is a good thing. Once we have religion involved in our government, goodbye peace. This is why I support governments like this. If you see me walking with the MPs and sitting with, because I support them. I support this line of thinking. Religion is one thing, government is one thing, unless the time of the Mahdi and the time of Jesus, when Jesus comes and the Mahdi comes, we'll be servants for that government. That will be the real religious government. They say in the West, politics is free from religion. However, in the Middle East, religion has swallowed politics. There are two important matters I want to speak about. Why can't we have Islamic rulers? We have a marji' taqleed become a ruler. Why? Because his field is politics. His field will be politics. No more tahara, najasa, salah, siyam. A marji' taqleed, being a ruler of a country, that field is a political field, which means he needs to be a mujtahid in politics. And we don't have ijtihad in politics in the Hawza. That will still be personal opinions. And politics according to personal benefits. How can I benefit my people and my nation, the whole Muslim ummah, against the matters that don't benefit me, which at the end of the day will affect the non-Muslims, the Baha'is, the Jews, the Christians within that country. There's no formula of deducting Islamic rulings from the Quran that any marji' taqleed can perform istinbat from, that we see is applied today. No, go to any Islamic government. Music, lack of hijab, lack of everything, oppression. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. The name is Islamic. But when you go there, yeah, Islamic, this is more Islamic. The problem is this, we need to realize these matters. However, the religion can interfere in the nation. I'm not saying the marji' taqleed can't interfere. He can interfere. Let's say we have a government that has no religion, but the Muslims say for our court cases and our marriages, our marriage contracts, we want a Muslim court that conducts marriages special to us. We want a Muslim court that makes sure that our inheritance is divided Islamically amongst the brothers and sisters. We want a Muslim court that will deal with our divorce matters. We want a Muslim system that will take care of our burial matters. We want a Muslim system that takes care of all of our Muslim affairs. That we can have a leader, a Muslim leader, part of the non-Muslim government that could then deal with the affairs of the Muslim. But the main governing system mustn't be a government that is run based on any religion. And this remains my personal opinion. هذا وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.
اللهم أرنا الطلعة الرشيدة دیگه جونم به لب رسید